right, so let's have a look at some of the papers we've got for you this morning. We'll start with New Telegraph today. Tax reform bills won't destroy any state's economy, ascribed to presidency. That is the big lead on the front page here this morning. Says bill meant to streamline tax administration, scrapping of TET fund, Nateni NITDA not recommended as part of the riders there. Beneath the lead story, Nigeria practicing electoralism, not democracy, ascribed to Fayemi, that's the former governor of Ekiti State. So that is how the paper reports this morning. Well, the Daily Times also focusing on the tax reform bills. It says tax reform bills, Senate's second reading passage hasty, smacks transparency, ascribed to PRP chieftain, the paper reports here today. Blueprints newspaper, tax reform bills do not recommend scrapping of TET fund, Naseni NITDA. And that is ascribed to presidency, says no provision will impoverish the North. It's massive incentive to working class. Abakoba, Tambawal, Dixon differ. The paper reports there. Nigerian Tribune also focusing on the tax reform bills, and the headline reads, TET fund, Naseni NITDA won't be scrapped, presidency clarifies. Nigerian News Direct has a different narrative. Eurobond issuance oversubscribed by $9 billion as Nigeria returns to international capital markets. The Daily Trust newspaper, 229 police officers killed in 22 months, the paper reports. And then they got minimum wage workers shot, FCT, Kaduna, Nasarawa, others, pupils writing exams turned back. So that's what you see right there. The Guardian newspaper is focusing on the Electricity Act here, and the paper reads, states face subsidy burden as Lagos leads with $10 billion deal legislation. And part of what you see in the highlight here, electricity challenges in Nigeria and states prospects. So they give you some sort of table with some figures, and also having those sub narratives there. You might want to pick that up and have a look yourself. Daily Independent, governors back administrative financial autonomy for local governments, the paper reports here today. This Nigeria, this is a very interesting headline here. EFCC records landmark recovery of 753 duplexes from government official in Abuja. This is the single largest asset recovery by EFCC since its inception in 2003. The estate rests on plot 109 cadastral zone C09 in local government district, the paper reports here today. So, and then the business day, Eurobonds $9 billion oversubscription seen steadying Naira. So there you go. That is a look at some of the dailies here this morning.
Those are all the papers this morning. The Vanguard piques my interest. I think it's a story that we've all been.
And This Nigeria.
This Nigeria has it as well. Well, I don't have This Nigeria. I have the Vanguard here.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those stories we've been scratching our heads since the story came out yesterday. Because if you live in Abuja, you'll be used to seeing a lot of these estates around. All over the place, empty estates. In fact, there was a time I tried one time just to see what would happen. You know, stop by one of those estates.
You wanted to buy one?
Yeah, I said I wanted to rent. I said I just got married and I need a place, and I was wondering if any of the estates here. They tossed me around in the security in the place. They tossed me around for a while, and then suddenly some person came and said no, that the estate is still under construction. They still have a lot of repairs to do, so they're not ready. But they will let me know when it's ready. But when this story broke yesterday, I mean, we all know this place. It's in Lokogoma. And we've been wondering, what's the plan? Who owns this place? You know, till now, there are speculations online as to who owns that particular place and who this big wig is, this person that the EFCC keeps talking about. But no official statement from them on who it is. But it is a very interesting story, and one that really should be followed up on. The EFCC completing the final forfeiture of 753 duplexes in Abuja in one place. My goodness. And then, of course, the debate as to who owns this place and how did this happen? What really is going on? Who is this person that owns it? So many issues have come up. But it just made me remember that in Abuja, we have a lot of places just like this. A lot of estates that are uninhabited. And we keep asking, who are these people? There are places, Chamberlain, where you go to, it's only security men that you see. There's an estate somewhere that I've never seen a child. I've never seen anyone on a bicycle in one particular estate somewhere in Maitama. It's always security men. Who lives in these places? Who owns these places?
Maybe you pass there when they've gone to work.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened. Yeah, it was when they went to work I passed there. But if you've been here long enough, you know the story. It's something that we've been puzzled about in the nation's capital for a while. Who owns these places? Is there what crimes are being committed? Are these places real? Do people actually own here? Can we rent these places? Well, we saw this, and they say it's the highest. The highest.
Yeah, that's what the commission says
the EFCC.
Now. How many again? 753.
Yes, 753 duplexes.
Can we see those pictures again, guys? I mean, it sounded as if it was, well...
It sounded bonkers.
Look at that. Goodness me. One person?
One person, according to the story that we're hearing from
753 of them. And so you just... sometimes, this line of work just, it gives you all sorts of things you just don't know what to make of some of these things. And it says it's one person, the biggest seizure. So, and this points to a bigger problem.
Yeah.
How in the world, what kind of system do we have that one person will have this?
What does this person do?
Well,
how was he able to secure the land?
What they said is a seizure, right?
It's a seizure.
It means that, to a large extent, it's been proven that it was proceeds of crime.
Yes, that's what the EFCC says. But what happens now? What happens now? Are they going to be auctioned off?
Sometimes they're just speechless about some of these things, and you don't know what to do about these things. And just as you said, you go to different cities and different places, and you see all sorts of things. Look, time was when some of these cases were being investigated. You go to some places. Guys, don't forget, it was in this same country where somebody, I think they said that there was a house, there was air conditioning, there was everything, and you know what they put in there? Money.
Yeah. Well, the AC was to keep the money fresh.
Yeah. And then someone put it in underground.
Yeah.
So they do all sorts of things, and then you have millions of people in this country.
This is shocking.
Where the data says are living below the poverty line in this country, in this same country. And you see this kind of thing, and it just, guys, we're in trouble. I know you've been saying, look, we've been in trouble for a long time. But then...
I was going to say, Chamberlain, we are in trouble. but baby steps. I like to see progress. At least there's a forfeiture.
Yeah,
baby steps. We've started. The process has started, but I'm very interested in what happens next. What happens to these buildings? Are they going to be auctioned off? What happens next? And then this person that the EFCC is talking about that owns this place, and they say they have been able to show that the money that was used to do this, these are proceeds of crime. So what happens to this person? How the prosecution of such an individual? Usually, when we look at the justice system in Nigeria, Chamberlain, sometimes something looks so clear-cut. It looks so straightforward. But then the legalities and being able to prove your case and being able to carry this out properly, some of those things come in the way, and we don't actually get the justice that we need to see.
It's
so we're watching this one.
There are just several things to say sometimes, such that you can't even say anything, because there are just so many things just rushing through your mind. You don't know how to highlight or approach some of these things, but it points to a very, very big problem, a real big problem. How is it that we have a system and a structure, and this happens under several people's noses? Several. And chances are that if somebody else comes now, he could say, well, it's my own turn.
Because he didn't buy it in isolation.
So, of course.
He had to go to offices,
He didn't do it himself.
He didn't do it
himself.
Several
people
people working for him. It's not We're not silly anymore.
There's a
We can't keep
structure.
doing silly things.
So it's almost like saying it's an industry. I mean, look, we just have a huge challenge on our hands to address some of these things. But like you said, remember, it was in the same country as well, where the former Attorney General and a certain EFCC chairman were haggling about what happens to proceeds of crime. Is there transparency? What do we do with them? What's the process? And don't forget too, there's been accusations against those who are also supposed to be fighting corruption. When you get to some of those agencies, different ones that are set up in different parts of the country, they're asking you, buy fuel for us, we cannot move our vehicles. Look, give us money to take your case to court. Give us money to do tracking for you. Look, you have to pay a certain percentage if we recover something for you. So to them too, they want to be partakers of the process of crime. So it's like a largesse. Everybody wants to be in on it because they say, oh, it's free money. And that's why I keep asking about this tax matter. It's not enough for us to keep talking about, oh yeah, this is good, we have to ensure that this happens. What systems are in place? Should we be thinking about saying, look, if after they collect all these monies, there has to be certain stipulations. Look, if these monies are collected, these are the things you must do with these monies. Because if not, you know how we say in local parlance, say to enter voicemail.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you were talking about the judiciary. It will take who knows how long. The CJN, the President of the Court of Appeal can only do as much as they can. But if one person feels or magistrate feels, let me take this, I'll forget about the industry and move on. What do you do? So, guys, we have a problem. If you think it's not about you, it doesn't concern you.
It is about you.
It does, guys. So, we're back in a moment. Stay on with us.